Animal Farm. George Orwell's classic. It's one of those books that's a total staple in high school English. But here's the thing. Today, we're not just going to rehash the plot. We're going to pull back the curtain and look at how this incredible novel is actually taught to students today. So, yeah, let's get into it.
I mean, think about it for a second. This is a political fable from 1945 about the Russian Revolution. So how on earth do you make that resonate with a 15-year-old in today's world? It's a huge question, right? How do you make sure it's not just some old book they have to read, but a lesson that actually, sticks with them?
Well, the answer, and this is what's so cool, isn't just about the story itself. I mean, Orwell was a genius, no doubt. But the real magic is in the lesson plan. It's all about the intentional way teachers structure the unit, not just to get you to understand the book, but to build real, lasting critical thinking skills.
So where do you even start? Well, you have to start at the beginning, right? You can't jump into the deep end of analysis if you don't even know what happened in the story. It's all about building that solid foundation first. And that first layer, it's all about making sure you actually did the reading. The questions are super simple, super direct. Like this one, who was the farmer the animals kicked out? It's not a trick question. It's just a basic check to see if you're following along and know who the main players are.
Or how about this one from Chapter 3, Who Did the Harvest? Again, super straightforward. The whole point here is just to make sure everyone is tracking the basic plot. You've got to build that shared understanding in the classroom before you can start digging any deeper. And one more, just to drive the point home, what was the main idea of animalism that Snowball created? The whole 4 legs good, 2 legs bad thing? Once these key details are locked in, then you're ready for the good stuff. Now everyone is starting from the same place, and the real analysis can begin.
All right, so foundation, check. Everyone knows the basic story. Now it's time to level up. We're moving away from just remembering facts to actually analyzing them. And trust me, this is where the real magic happens. Just look at the jump here. We're not asking what happened anymore. The questions are now about how and why. Comparing Napoleon and Snowball, analyzing their power struggle techniques, that's a huge leap. You're not just recalling information, you're evaluating it, and that takes a lot more brain power. And then you get to the really big picture stuff, like this. We're moving beyond just the characters to look at themes, these huge abstract ideas. How does the book show society's tendency to create classes? With the pigs taking charge and everyone else doing the work. Students have to track that idea through the whole story, and crucially, back it up with evidence from the text. And this part is so important. Students are taught to think like actual literary detectives. They have to look for the author's craft, right? To find the little clues, the breadcrumbs that Orwell scattered throughout the story. How did he hint, right from the start, that this whole revolution was probably going to go sideways? Okay, so we've analyzed the book. But let's be real. It's a story from 1945. How do you connect that to a student whose world is filled with social media and AI? Well, that's exactly what the next part of the lesson is designed to do, to build that bridge to the modern world. And one of the coolest ways they do that is by bringing in a film version of the story. Suddenly, you're not just a reader, you're a media analyst. You're looking at persuasive techniques in speeches, comparing the movie to the book, and even examining how animals are used as symbols. The big goal? Argue why Animal Farm still matters today. It's about media literacy, plain and simple. And check out this question. It's perfect. You're not just passively watching a film. You're being asked to critique the director's choices. Were the animatronics effective? Why did they use puppets for some scenes? It forces you to think about how the way a story is told changes the story itself. And honestly, in our world today, that's an absolutely essential skill. So we've seen the different layers of learning, from basic facts to complex analysis. But we have to ask, why is it structured this way? Because none of this is random. This whole thing is a carefully, deliberately designed educational experience. Exactly. It's not just a collection of random assignments. Every single question, every activity, it's all there for a reason. It's part of a bigger teaching strategy that's built from the ground up to hit some very specific targets. And what are those targets? Well, here you go. They map directly onto the official Grade 10 English curriculum for Ontario. The entire unit is basically engineered to build these essential skills. Things like reading for meaning, understanding style, and developing that all-important critical literacy. Now here's a really smart part of the design. The whole unit is broken down into what educators call short learning cycles.
Basically, you read a chunk of the book, say chapters 1 to 5, then you get a little quiz to review and check your understanding. Then you reflect on how you did, and then you repeat the whole process for the next section of the book. It's a simple, powerful rhythm.
So why break it up like that? Well, this is the real genius of it. It allows teachers to provide what's called targeted intervention. They can immediately see who's having trouble with just understanding the plot versus who's ready to tackle the big ideas. It means they can give the right kind of help right away to the students who need it. It's just a smarter way to make sure nobody falls through the cracks. Which kind of brings us to our final big question. We've seen how this whole lesson plan is about so much more than just one book. It's about building skills that last a lifetime. So when you think about it, in a world that is screaming for more critical thinkers, could it be that a timeless story about a bunch of farm animals is still one of the best tools we have for the job?